History has always been one of my favourite subjects, and I still very much love reading about different historic figures and the way their valiant deeds and genius minds have shaped civilization in unimagined ways. I think it's remarkable how some people's names are enshrined in the annals of history, and they are so legendary to the point that their names are celebrated even today. My top 3 ancient civilizations are ancient China, ancient Greece, and ancient India. And fairly recently I was doing some thinking about which historic figure I'd like to meet from each of those civilizations. Now I can literally give you a massive list of the many different historic figures that I'd like to meet, but digging deep enough there were 3 that stuck out to me from each of those civilizations that I mentioned, and those 3 historic figures are as follows. Zhuge Liang, nicknamed Kung Ming, was born in present-day Shandong province in China. I'm drawn to Zhuge Liang because he's renowned for his genius in Chinese history. You may be familiar with Zhuge Liang if you know about the Three Kingdoms in Chinese antiquity, or if you've played the Dynasty Warriors game series, where Zhuge Liang dons a crane-white Taoist robe and wields his signature peacock fan. Zhuge Liang was the original mastermind behind the Three Kingdoms design. This entailed dividing ancient China into 3 kingdoms each, vying for power and attempting to outsmart one another. It was Zhuge Liang who bolstered Liu Bei's desire to carve out a society predicated on virtue. What's marvelous about Zhuge Liang is his display of intellectual prowess on numerous occasions. A fine example was the arrow borrowing scheme. When Zhou Yu of the Wu Kingdom ordered Zhuge Liang to fetch 10,000 arrows within 3 days or face execution, Zhuge Liang got to action. Zhuge Liang chose a foggy day and set out with a few naval vessels stuffed with straw. When Zhuge Liang's vessels approached the gigantic Wei fleet, Zhuge Liang ordered drums to be beaten and for his troops to shout abuse to provoke battle. The Wei fleet responded with a rain of arrows, which got caught in the straw of Zhuge Liang's vessels. Zhuge Liang then returned to Zhou Yu with his vessels swollen with arrows. Zhou Yu was lost for words and instantly understood that Zhuge Liang was someone to be feared. It was Zhuge Liang's resourcefulness and thinking that enabled him to amass ample supplies without killing a soul or causing destruction. Another celebrated example is Zhuge Liang's empty fort strategy. When Sima Yi of the Wei Kingdom led a gigantic host to besiege Yangping, Zhuge Liang ordered the city gates to be opened. Next, he ordered the few soldiers he had at his disposal to dress up as commoners and sweep. The ruse was to make it look like the fort was fortified and there wasn't a care about the enemy. Sima Yi, fearing an ambush, ordered a withdrawal, thus leaving victory in the hands of Zhuge Liang. I find Zhuge Liang's persona mysteriously frightening, but his mind monumentally impressive. Zhuge Liang's exemplary strategy scored innumerable victories, his intellect struck fear in enemies, and his presence brought consolation to allies. Zhuge Liang instills the value of preparation, caution, and tactful thinking. In the words of Zhuge Liang, there is no greater weapon than a prepared mind. Historic figure number 2, Socrates. Socrates is known as the father of Western philosophy and was born in present-day Athens in Greece. I'm drawn to Socrates because of his wisdom and critical approach to life. He gave us the Socratic method, which put simply is a dialogue where a teacher fires probing questions to a student in order to elicit the student's underlying beliefs and opinions. Socrates spent much of his time strolling the streets of ancient Athens in the company of his beloved student Plato, asking mind-boggling questions such as what is piety. Socrates often engaged sophists in philosophical dialogues, which consequently made him an object of ridicule for doing the daring deed. In fact, Socrates described himself as a gadfly sent to arouse and prick the Athenian citizenry. Socrates' actions and presence shook the very foundation upon which the ancient Athenian society was designed on. One of Socrates' most notable and bold moments was his discourse with Gorgias. Socrates raised the meaning of rhetoric, which ultimately called into question everything Gorgias and other sophists did. Socrates' legacy is particularly distinct because he was condemned to death for something which arguably troubles the world today. One of the charges against Socrates was corrupting the youth. What Socrates was really doing was teaching the youth to think, to question, and to live a wiser life. For this, he he faced the penalty of death. I'll let you think about Socrates' execution and how something similar is happening with the youth and society in general today. How we're being brainwashed to conform and accept without question. If you happen to think differently from the majority, you're condemned as anti-progressive and dangerous. Socrates used his speech to defend the freedom to think and question. To me, Socrates is an inspirational icon of how one should challenge convention. Socrates succinctly sums up human existence. An unexamined life is not worth living. Historic figure number 3, Maharaja Ranjit Singh. Although not from the ancient era of India, I'd still very much love to meet Maharaja Ranjit Singh. Nicknamed Sher-e-Punjab, meaning the Lion of Punjab, Ranjit Singh was born in present-day Western Punjab in the city of Gujranwala in 1780. As a child, Ranjit Singh suffered from smallpox, which consequently led to the loss of one of his eyes. This did not stop him from achieving glory. For decades, medieval India was mired in conflict. Various empires from the west and north sacked and pillaged. Mughal persecution continued, coupled with constant threats from the Afghan Durrani Empire. Adding to the challenge was the upheaval in Kashmir and the Sikh Confederacy, where local rulers clashed and declined diplomatic peace. Ranjit Singh began by uniting the Sikh Confederacy. In 1799, he conquered the eminent historic city of Lahore and made it his capital. In 1801, at the age of 20, Ranjit Singh was crowned emperor and obtained the title Maharaja. What followed suit was unthinkable. Maharaja Ranjit Singh and his Punjabi forces defeated the Afghan Durrani Empire. The Afghan stronghold of Peshawar was also seized in the campaign. Conquering Afghan territory was totally unheard of, and Maharaja Ranjit Singh, through his forces at the time, were among the first from the Indian subcontinent/Punjab to conquer the conqueror. Multiple historic sources have endorsed Maharaja Ranjit Singh's benevolent rule. Unlike the intolerant Mughal emperors, Maharaja Ranjit Singh was more tolerant of other religions. Although a Sikh himself, his polity was secular. I'm drawn to Maharaja Ranjit Singh because of his charitable rule. His efforts pacified a land long haunted by instability. His empire demonstrated how peace and diversity are the cornerstones of just rule. There were no forced conversions, no communal riots, no religious persecution, no language tensions, and no second-class citizens. Maharaja Ranjit Singh's rule was influenced by Sikh philosophy, which advocates for recognizing the human race as one. As a renowned tactician and principled warrior, Maharaja Ranjit Singh was an ideal monarch whose successors could have achieved so much good had it not been for the damnable British Empire that engulfed what would have become a model civilization in the making. In Maharaja Ranjit Singh's own words, "The good Lord gave me sight in only one eye, so that I can see and treat all of my subjects, Hindu, Muslim, Christian and Sikh, rich or poor, as equals." Now do me a favour and let me know 3 historic figures who you'd love to meet in the comments box, but they've got to be dead and they've got to be historic, but they can be through any part of history, modern, medieval or ancient. The choice is entirely yours. And I'll catch you folks next time. Take care, stay safe, happy history and cheerio for now.